What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today just going to be carrying out a trade breakdown and analysis of this week. Kind of see where my positions are and where I lie, and essentially I'll just be covering gold, EURUSD and a few other pairs. I'll make this a pretty short video, not too long. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So we can see on the monthly chart on gold that it's been trending up consistently, and it looks like it's finally rejected off of a local high. The highest high was $5,598 per ounce, and it looks like we could be topping out here. Reason why I say this is you see on the weekly time frame, we kind of had this little phase of where price continued to push, made a rejection, a little bit of a pullback, consolidated for a while, push, a rejection, a pullback, and then a continuation. So this could be a new breakout that we've had, a rejection, and then maybe a bit of a pullback. And then I don't know where price would go from there, but we can see your average pullback after a new high is about more than 10%. Okay, so price at the moment has closed from the all-time high. Let's just have a look here. So from the all-time high, from the all-time high, from a close basis, price has already dipped down 12%. So we could see it consolidate this week. On the weekly time frame, I plotted an expansion, a weekly expansion Fibonacci levels, where we look at the objective targets, the contracted objective targets, and the expanded objective targets. So on the weekly time frame, this is an expansion wave, and also we draw support retracement waves, and we kind of see from there, does price respect these zones, or does it does it support it? So on the weekly time frame, we can see that price rejected off of not too far away from this local XOP level, which we call the 1618 extension, and from a close basis, this is a huge rejection candle. And you know, on a close basis, now dropping down to the daily time frame, I would say a key important zone is to look at this daily 618 retracement, at 4780, as you know, Trump decided to just liquidate a lot of people's stops during Thursday and Friday. So you know, I've never seen this kind of price action ever in my life, and it is quite frankly like ridiculous, like how volatile metals have been. Throughout my trading career, I've only been trading for like 1 to 2 years, like properly, and this kind of price action is just parabolic, really. So yeah, like I said, on the daily time frame, I'm not really looking for anything. We need to kind of digest the move that's happened and kind of see where price is going to go from there. Ideally, if you know, the way this is rejected, I would like to see, when we drop down to the 4 hourly time frame, you got a few areas of support which price has clearly tapped into. So you got that 618 retracement on the daily, so 4780 is an area of support, and then you got these higher lower points, or I call them reaction points, where there could be an area of interest for buyers to step back in, or for price to tap back into. So on a close basis, I would say, you know, we need to wait and see what's going to happen next for price. I currently am not going to take any action on this pair, because I already traded a few positions, as you can see on the positions I took this week and last week on gold. So I'm pretty damn happy with what I've achieved this week and last week overall. Where I currently stand is obviously we've got this local higher high where price topped out and we've made a huge rejection. So I did an expansion wave to the downside to see if we would potentially bounce off of any of these levels, and at the moment we've only interrogated the 618 on the daily here. So at the moment I would say wait for further price action to develop. There's no current action to take because of how volatile this move was. Maybe a key important thing is that if sellers are really selling off this now, then we look at areas of resistance for sellers to show up. So you would draw expansion waves at these local levels to see if there is any kind of if there's any kind of sellers. And you can see when a 618 and a 0.32 meet, that's where you have typical confluence, or a COP has confluence. So 49,680 to 49.50 would definitely be an area of interest for sellers, if sellers do show up, that is. So in the imminent short term, that's why I've marked this zone out to see if we do tap in. So for example, if I drop down to the 30-minute, if price taps into this local level, right, so say we tap in and then we retest it, so this could be the order block that happened here, which broke this structure. Price could retest it and then drop back down. So ideally for myself, I would like to either see a level break here on the lower time frames, or a level break somewhere around here to trade the move somewhere. Because at the moment, like I said, I'd rather wait for more price action to develop on this pair. So that's what I kind of will be looking at for gold. So yeah, nothing really to do in the imminent short term for gold. Moving over to EURUSD, so I'll just provide a cleaner chart here. So on the monthly time frame, we know that EURUSD has rejected off of this local level of supply. I have drawn a local monthly expansion level, and we have 1.21881 as a local XOP level, COP level. Dropping down to the weekly time frame, we did have a local higher high, which was about here, and we broke through that, and now on a close basis on the weekly we're clearly below that. So at the moment we had the rejection that we were looking for over there, and ultimately just kind of waiting to see what price will do next. Now forex pairs typically range, they don't really trend like assets do, such as gold. So ideally for myself, I'd only be scalping something like this if anything does present. Dropping down to the daily time frame, at the moment you can see one local level of support, which was the 0.382, which held in this region. Now obviously from a daily perspective, we had that rejection, right? So we know that sellers are showing up here, and the key important thing is that we look at, if sellers are really showing up, we look at areas of support, right? So areas of support are your weekly OP, which at the moment on a close basis is quite far away from. So I would say it's nothing really to take current action on. This 2% move to the downside. The key important thing is on the 4 hourly, you look at these areas of confluence and see if price taps into them. If it does, then we take action, because they are the areas of interest for traders such as me or a retail investor. So dropping onto the 4 hourly time frame, I would say at the imminent short term, price is kind of rejecting and in a bit of a localized it's kind of, it's pushed up and it's rejected and pushed up, so you could say we're in a technically in like a stage 2 trend, which is uptrending, but now it's rejected. So on the hourly you can just clearly see that we are moving to the downside slightly. So I would say, like I said, we had that potential rejection there. Now we're just kind of looking to see where local areas of support will hold up, and yeah, just kind of see where that's going to happen this week. And yeah, I would say moving over to other pairs, for example, Bitcoin. Now this is interesting, right? Because I called this out like literally a couple. Look at this wick. What the hell? I've never seen that wick on the monthly. That's ridiculous. Like I was saying. So on the weekly, I was overseeing the price of Bitcoin and where it was going, right? And we had a local weekly retracement level that I had drawn, and then expansion on the daily. Now, an area of interest was 77, and I told myself I'll be looking to see if price, it'll be funny to see if price rejects this week and we go and meet this local XRP level, right? 77, because you've got number one, a daily retracement support at 78, and then an expansion level which also meets on the daily within the region of 77 to 78, and we clearly had a rejection around that region, which is a perfect pinpoint. So at the moment, in the imminent short term, I don't know if price will continue to shoot to the downside, but you could have easily traded this move. You could have shorted anywhere within the region of this week. Internally, you could have shorted here, you could have shorted here, you could have shorted here. There are multiple opportunities to short, and you would have easily gained a huge trade out of this. If you traded somewhere here with a stop below here, your risk to reward is ridiculous. This is a 7-8 hour trade, and let's just zoom it out. So guys, one thing I do stress is that you always zoom out and you look at the different time frames, and you just you compound everything, because it just works when you have your analysis thoroughly written out and you know where areas of interest are as a retail trader. Because at the end of the day, the people out there are there to take your stops and take your money, and you need to be an important investor and be able to identify these areas of interest and take little bits of the waves that happen and the moves that happen in the market to the utmost best of your ability. And the most important thing is to stay disciplined, be making the right decisions in your psychology when you're trading, because we know that 20% is technicals, 80% is psychology in trading. We all know this. Trading is a mental game, and it's all about managing your risk ultimately, and just being the best version of yourself during times like these. So yeah, this is what I would say to you guys. And if we can keep positive and push out and see what's going to happen towards the next month of February, which is a very short month, then yeah, we'll just see what price gives us in terms of reactions, and also a general outlook. And yeah, thanks for listening. This is basically my overview for gold, EURUSD and Bitcoin, which are mainly the typical pairs I'm looking at right now. So yeah, feel free, if you have any questions in the comments, let me know. And yeah, take care guys, and peace out.